Hello and welcome to A Day in the Garden with me, Christina Linder. Today I just wanted to quickly touch a little bit on water penetration in soil. So when the soil is very, very dry in your garden and you go to water, of course the type of soil you have make a big difference. But with my big tall vase here, I wanted to demonstrate a little bit on how the water will penetrate into sandy soil, which this is in here. So if you haven't watered for a while, maybe it's hot summer and the temperature's been hot for a while, and your soil is very, very dry. When you go to water, it's very, very important that you water thoroughly so that the water will actually penetrate the soil down to where the roots are. So if you have a plant growing in here, the root system should be down to here or so about. If it is maybe like a 4 or a 6 or a 6-inch or a gallon size newly planted thing. If it's a tree or a shrub, of course, then the roots should go down much, much further than that. So when we're going to pour a little bit of water on here, we're going to watch how that water penetrates into the sand. So we're just going to put a little drop of that in there, and now you can see how the water is starting to kind of penetrate, and it's finding its way through the little pockets in the soil, and it's taking its time, just like a little puddle on top here, and it's slowly going down into the soil. So we're just going to watch that for a moment. When you initially start watering really, really dry soil, sometimes you'll find that it's kind of like pouring cinnamon in a hot drink. They just don't really like each other, and the term that we use to describe that is that the soil is hydrophobic. So you can go around that by just doing this very, very slowly. But you can see now how the water is coming down into the soil, but there's still lots of dry pockets in here. So I'm just going to spin this around a little bit. And there is lots and lots of dry pockets still. So once you've added the water to the soil and it's finally sunk away, you'll want to hit that again with a bit more water, like that. And it's gradually seeping in. There's still a little bit of a puddle on top. And it's very, very slowly going down. So this is just to demonstrate how important it is that you keep adding water, adding water, adding water until you can tell that it's gone down far enough. A really, really good method that you can use is to dig a little hole in the area where you feel like your plants aren't doing very well. Dig a hole down to the depth of where the roots should be and see how dry the soil is in that area, because most likely if your plants aren't doing very well, it's either because they're too wet or they're too dry. And if you happen to have a really wet soil, a way that you can combat that and grow beautiful plants is to either do a raised flower bed, and that will help provide the kind of drainage that you might need, or even to move things into really, really big pots. So now this water sank down, and if I rotate this, you can see how there's still a lot of dry areas very close to the surface. So we're going to give that another slurp, like that. And it's very important that your soil does have some air pockets down below. If your soil is really, really compacted, and that could be a result of you being fairly close to a road with the vibrations from the traffic, there could be a lot of reasons. This water will take an even longer time penetrating the soil. So we still have a little puddle on top. But you can still see that quite far up here, there is still dry pockets. So keep adding that water, and you're much better off watering maybe only once a week or twice a week, and watering very deeply so that the water penetrates really far down to where the roots ought to be, so that when you have a really hot sunny spell of weather and the roots are far down here, the moisture is going to stay down below. It's going to dry out from the surface, but the moisture there might still be moisture down below. So in order to create a garden that is very drought tolerant and heat resistant, make sure that you don't water superficially, that you water very deep, so that the roots can be happy down below. And I see that there's still a few air pockets up there. It's quite amazing, isn't it? We'll add a little bit more. And you can see how it's starting to find its way down now. If you're going to fertilize, whether you're using a water-soluble fertilizer that you just add a powder usually to your watering can, or if you're using a slow-release granular fertilizer, it's very important that you don't add a fertilizer to really dry plants. Let them have a good drink first, and that'll help you avoid salt damage, salt burn on the leaves. So still a little bit of water on top. And if your property, if your flower beds are on a slope, you can imagine how as soon as you apply that water, it just runs down the hill and disappears. So a way that you can combat that is to either set up like little berms, little borders. I've seen people do that with logs. You can use rocks and that kind of a thing to stop the water from just rushing off. Another way that I've seen people combat that is to, if you have a plant and it's maybe growing on a bit of a hill, right beside it, if you were to go and get like maybe a 2-liter pop bottle with the plastic one with a cap, and then you drill a few holes in the bottom of the pop bottle and you countersink that so that the cap just sticks up out of the soil, but the actual bottle is all down below. You can remove the cap, fill that bottle with water and put the cap back on, and it'll slowly leak the water out right down below where the roots are. So if you're going to employ that little sneaky trick, plant the bottle uphill from the plant so that the water will slowly seep down to where the roots are. So how are we doing here now? Yeah, it's still only in the top foot or so of this vase. So keep applying that water, and like I said earlier, if you dig a little hole down with a little trowel perhaps, you can then really tell how far down that water level has gone. We top up a little bit more. And it's just slowly creeping down. So the lesson for today is do a little investigating and see if your watering is actually effective. And if it's not, if you're not finding that your plants maybe get enough water, then increase the quantity of water you give them, but perhaps decrease the frequency. So if you were to just give things a really light watering every other day or so, you would really only just wet the top inch or two. And I think this glass vase kind of demonstrates that quite nicely. So thank you so very much for watching. Good luck with your watering. And please like, share, and follow. And of course subscribe, and I'll see you back here next time. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day and happy gardening. Bye!